Toy Story 5, the brand new Pixar film. Of course, this is the fifth or sixth, if you want to include Lightyear into the mix, of the Toy Story franchise. And the weird thing about this franchise is, like, ever since the third film, everyone's like, why make a fourth? Why make a fifth? You know, you left, you made the perfect ending with the third film. Why make a fourth? Why make a fifth? Right? And Pixar finds a clever way to justify it. They justify it with four, and they justify it with five by wrapping up each element's story. Like, three was all about wrapping up about Andy's story. Then the fourth one is all about wrapping up Woody's story. That's why he's more a supporting character in this film than he is as a main lead. Yeah, major role, but safe to assume he is a supporting character, right? Fair lot of screen time, a lot of screen time, but once again, is along with Buzz, a very supporting character in this film, in five. And this film is all about wrapping up Jesse's story. And this feels like a big on epilogue. This feels like a 9-minute epilogue of wrapping up the final thread of the story that was told in, well, for Jesse's case, the beginning of Toy Story 2. And still not dealing with the fact of what happened between her and Emily, her first child that who owned her, who played with her and all that. She still has to move on for it, and she's trying her hardest to reconcile that with Bonnie. But what has happened is they realize that, well, the toys realize that Bonnie's like the only kid that still plays with toys. Like, somehow, like, playing toys ain't cool if you're 6, because all the other kids are on tablets, and like, it's weird having 6-year-olds basically telling another 6-year-old to grow up and say, like, stop playing with toys. The tablets. Where's your tablet? It's weird, but the toys find out about technology. To find out that kids don't play with toys much these days, and at some point Bonnie gets one, and mainly it's through socializing. The parents get it through, like, hey, she's not making a bunch of friends. If we give her a tablet, maybe she can socialize and stuff of those lines. And she and it happens, and she's addicted. She's playing with the tablet more. Lily, who is the name of the tablet, is playing more with Lily more than all the other toys. Not playing with Jesse, not playing with Bullseye or Mr. Potato Head or Buzz or whatever. Or Rex or Swinky, or any of the characters. She's just not playing with them because she's stuck with this tablet. And so you have Jessie in this kind of in the journey of this film, while her emotional core and her emotional journey is about uh, moving on from her trauma. And same for this, we're saying a toy has trauma, but a toy having trauma about the first child that left her, about Emily, and that's her emotional core. But the physical core is this battle between her and Lily, toy and technology. Was in a way, like, it saying that this movie has an epilogue feel. I probably will keep using that word, epilogue. It kind of does, because there's a lot of parallels from the first movie, where in the first film it was basically Western versus sci-fi. How cowboys and bank robbers was the coolest thing, and Woody was the favorite toy, and here comes Buzz Lightyear, and and space takes over the walls, and that. So, and 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 Woody kind of fights Buzz for it, and fights the affection of Bonnie, sorry, of Andy. And this is the same thing that's happening with this film, where you have Jesse offending all the other toys and saying, "We know this child. This is what our thing is. You're just a piece of technology. You don't know the best for Bonnie. We know her left, right, center." And then but then Lily comes along and it says like, well, I know what she actually wants. You know, she wants to hang out with mates and hang out with her friends. So, and it involves not you guys. So I'm the one with the best interest at heart. It is that situation of two groups of people having the same goal, same everything, with different meanings and different approaches of how they can achieve those goals, which is just be there for Lily, um, and that. There's things in the film that I won't lie wasn't much of a fan of, like anything to do with Buzz, like with the Buzz Army, like the Buzz Army. They're there so the third act can happen. They're basically that's the reason they're there. Was I mean, oddly enough, there's once again to parallel the epilogue feel and be like, this feels like the climax of the first film, but that's the only reason they're there. And I'm like, okay. Um, and then also anything to do with Buzz when Buzz is not hanging out with Woody. Like his story with in this is he's in love with Jessie, understandably so, and he's at the point of opposing. He wants to marry her. And it just feels very one note because it's just the common everything comes out when he's when he buzzes mouth is that. And it's just like, can we have a little bit more? Can we have this? Can we just like? It's just I feel like outside anything that doesn't involve the main plot, anything that doesn't involve him interacting with Woody, it kind of Buzz kind of gets dragged. The wine kind of falls short with the character. Um, but it's Pixar, so the feels happen. You feel bad anytime Like the thing with Bonnie is that you understand the choices that she makes. You understand why she shift gears, sign for one thing, and then Lily, see he gets the text messages from her friends, and they're saying horrible things to about her and how she doesn't she changed her minds and doesn't feel like acting and and also I realize the message towards kid in this film probably like the kid message, like the message that you approach to kids is that it's like it's okay to be not cool. It's okay to like it's fine to grow up, but it's also fine to still have the kid in you kind of thing. Because you have this other kid named called Blaze, and she's clearly like 13 or something, 13, 14, and she's playing with she's a teenager. She's doing all the things that a teenager does, but she's like, yeah, I'll play with my toys and have that inner child in her. So it seems to be like, hey, like, you know, maybe sometimes the popular kids ain't the kids you that is truly the fit for you. Um, and you need to find people who actually get you versus you know it's the idea of like, hey, I thought these would be the perfect people to be my friends, and in reality, no, this person is the perfect person to be my friend. And also, no, that Bonnie might be one of those people who gets along with people who are older than her and all that. So, um, as in like, she's in high school and she, she's hanging out with the seniors, like that whole thing. And that, but yeah, if the fifth, if it was, I will say this knowing the epilogue feel of this movie, I will 100% be shocked if I hear the word, we're making a Toy Story 6. But, the thing about Pixar, and I think it's easy to assume, the cash grab thing, even though every movie is a cash grab, that they don't do it for the story. And I think clearly, knowing that, Toy Story 4 came out in 2019 and we're in 2026, it kind of shows you that they are not going to make another Toy Story film unless they think they have a good story and justify making another one. And I feel like this one does. I think this one does. And it'll be quite interesting to see someone like binge watch the entire Toy Story film, like all 5 films, and if it feels like a complete package and things on those lines. But anyway, if you've seen the film, comment below. Let me know your thoughts.